Welcome back. If my next guest has his way, the head of the New York Federal Reserve Bank could soon become a presidential appointee, subject to Senate confirmation. Senator Jack Reed of Rhode Island put forth a bill to make this possible and says the New York Fed needs to be held accountable for its actions. He joins me now in a CNBC exclusive with the latest on this push. Senator, it's great to see you this afternoon. And can we begin with the hearing today? This question, this notion was put to New York Fed President Bill Dudley. Were you satisfied with his response?
Well, President Dudley expressed no reservation or objection to having the legislation passed. He was quite clear about that. He said it was up to Congress. This is a proposal that I not only made, but was included in the Senate version of the Dodd-Frank bill 4 years ago. And it's not about personalities. It's about creating a structure that will inspire confidence across not only the American public, but also the financial firms, that the person there has significant responsibilities for regulation and also has clearly a responsibility to the nation and to the good economic order.
Senator, do you think that if Bill Dudley had been nominated by the president and gone through this process, that he wouldn't have made it through, that somebody else would have been at the helm of the New York Fed and handled matters quite differently?
I don't think, again, this is about Mr. Dudley. I proposed this 4 years ago, and he was not even on the scene. This is about going forward. This is about dispelling, in one respect, the perception that many people have. In fact, it's growing with some of these revelations, that there's no difference between the regulator and the regulated, that the regulator has been captured. I think we have to dispel that, and I think one way to do it in a procedural and principled way is to have the process as it's done for every other major federal financial regulator, in which the president nominates and the Senate confirms. I think that would give the individual, whoever it is, the additional, I think, credibility that he has gone through a process that is not exclusive just to New York. Frankly.
It would also, by the way, raise the specter of this process getting held up in the confirmation process, which you know happens time and again because it's so politicized. Would you be comfortable if there is no head of the New York Fed because of some delay in the confirmation process?
Well, you know, the process applies right now to the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve. My sense is that
two of those seats are still open, as I understand.
They are still open. They're waiting, I think, not only nomination but confirmation. That's always a possibility. But I think that this is a situation where, if you look at every other major federal regulator, the comptroller, the currency, and others, they have to go through this process. And we recognize, and we should recognize, that if we establish this, we have the responsibility to fill these positions. And that's something I think that we hopefully will recognize if we pass this legislation.
Right, but you do see what I'm saying, which is that pragmatically, it sounds like this idea could actually hold up, keep anybody from actually running the agency that, because we're having this conversation, has demonstrated how vital it actually is.
No, I don't think it will. Again, we have federal regulators in place. In fact, there would be pressure, huge pressure, publicly and through other ways, if the vacancy was open for an extended period of time. Part of this is making sure that the process works, but it works in a way in which the individual is perceived to be clearly responsible to, ultimately, the American public, not to a particular industry or a particular sector. That's why every major regulatory position in the federal government and most state governments is subject to some type of political appointment and confirmation.
Understood, Senator. And just to back out from the narrow issue of the New York Fed to more broadly banking regulation, I mean, there are a lot of different agencies who we've been pressing for weeks now, whether it's the SEC, the CFTC, the piecemeal fashion in which the nation's banks are regulated itself is part of the problem. Is there anything that's going to resolve that?
I don't think there's anything immediately that's going to resolve that. Some of Dodd-Frank was designed to try to coordinate better the existing agencies, but to be honest and candid, I think we're in a situation now where our best approach is to move some of the regulations that were sponsored or created by Dodd-Frank, get them on the books, give financial institutions and the public more certainty. That's, I think, the immediate step.
Yes, it's been going on 5 years now. Most of those rules, many of them anyway, are still not even written. But Senator Jack Reed doing his part to try and make sure that there's more oversight, at least of this New York Fed position. Thank you, Senator, for being here this afternoon.
Kelly.